It's now time for our health ministry segment. And during our health ministry segment, we purpose to learn something new. I am curious what Sister Clarice has for us because this is the first time I've seen her provide a presentation where it starts with a dog wagging its tail, looking at a burger. Okay? So, Sister Clarice, what do you have for us this morning?
Good morning, everyone. I was preparing this for a presentation, and the Holy Spirit came to talk to me and said, "Hey, we're talking about fasting and appetite." I'm like, "Yes." So this is what we're going to talk about today. Now, oh wait, Pastor. So I have to explain what this is going on here. So, what do you see this dog doing? He was wagging his tail, but also look at his face. And he is like debating, do I eat this? Should I eat this? No, I'm going to wait. And so the one thing I perceived out of this is that this dog is taught how to be disciplined. He is sitting there and either on command or not on command to eat or not to eat this burger. And my goal during this time of prayer and fasting is to become more disciplined in my appetite. And so this dog is teaching a lesson. Okay. So let's talk about what is appetite. Appetite is a person's general desire to eat food. A person's appetite might dictate how much food they want to eat, as well as the type of food they feel like eating. Hunger. Hunger occurs when the body recognizes that it needs more food and sends a signal to the brain to eat. The signs of hunger often include rumbling or gurgling in the stomach, nausea, irritability, a feeling of emptiness in the stomach, sometimes feeling a little lightheaded or dizzy, trouble concentrating, or headaches. And we don't have time to go into each one of those, but I also want to point out that in the same part of your brain is responsible for interpreting both hunger and thirst signals, which can often result in mixed messages. If you have eaten, say, in the last 2 to 4 hours, and if you feel hungry, you may simply be thirsty. Some factors that affect our appetite. A wide range of factors can affect appetite. We look at some common ones below: diet, mental health, pregnancy, depression, eating orders, or even medication. One of the strongest temptations that man has to meet is upon the point of appetite. Since the first surrender to appetite, mankind have been growing more and more self-indulgent until health has been sacrificed on the altar of appetite. The inhabitants of the antediluvian world were intemperate in eating and drinking. They would have flesh meats, although God had at that time given man no permission to eat animal food. They ate and drank till the indulgence of their depraved appetite knew no bounds, and they became so corrupt that God could bear with them no longer. Let's look at some statements from the Council on Diets and Food. Esau, remember Esau and his issue, had a strong desire for a particular article of food, right? And he had so long gratitude himself that he did not feel the necessity of turning from the tempting, coveted dish. He allowed his imagination to dwell upon it until the power of appetite bore down every other consideration and controlled him. He thought he would suffer great inconvenience and even death if he could not have that particular dish. The, The more he reflected upon it, the more his desire strengthened until his birthright lost its value and sacredness in his sight, and he what bartered it away. The Redeemer of the world knew that the indulgence of appetite would bring physical debility and so deaden the perceptive organs that sacred and eternal things would not be discerned. Christ knew that the world was given up to gluttony and that this indulgence would pervert the moral powers. Let's talk a minute about fast and pray. What does that mean? Ellen White states, now and onward to the close of time, the people of God should be more earnest, more wide awake. They should set aside days for fasting and prayer. Entire abstinence from food may not be required, but they should eat sparingly of the most simple food. What role does fasting play in the Christian experience? It is important to remember that fasting gains what? No points with God. Fasting is not to impress God or to earn our acceptance with Him. Some people cannot fast for medical reasons. Nonetheless, fasting has great benefits. An important aspect to take note of in the Sermon on the Mount is that fasting is equated with giving with prayer. Christ used the same wording when he spoke on these topics when you give alms and when you pray. Moreover, when you fast, notice Jesus does not say if you fast, but when you fast. Fasting brings the physical nature into agreement with your spiritual desire by correlating the dependency on physical food with dependency on Christ. When fasting, one experiences a physical humbling that is correlated to a spiritual humbling before God. Fasting changes us, changes our attitude toward God as well as others. Give you a little encouragement here. During your fast, you may have your struggles, discomforts, spiritual victories, and failures. In the morning, you may feel like you're on top of the world, but by evening, you may be wrestling with the flesh, sorely tempted to raid the refrigerator and counting how many more days are left in your fast. To counteract temptations like these, take extra time with the Lord to spend with God. Step outside for fresh air and a moderate walk of a mile or two and talk to the Lord as you walk along. And in the process, always keep on sipping water or liquids frequently during your waking hours. Lastly, benefits to prayer and fasting. Fasting and prayer can help us hear God more clearly. Together, fasting and prayer can transform your life into a richer and more personal experience of God. I pray that we all will have some wonderful testimonies as we go through this blessed experience. Thank you.